Well, hey guys, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Dr. Dray. I'm a board-certified dermatologist. In today's video, we're talking about a product that I'm getting a lot of questions about, and that is the new Volufiline Pal-Isoleucine serum from The Ordinary. More specifically, we're going to be addressing a question that a lot of people want the answer to. Can a topical skincare product restore lost facial volume? Can it resuscitate lost fat in the face? In this video, I'll walk you through what Volufiline is, what the science says about it, including both laboratory-based studies and human studies, why I remain skeptical as a dermatologist, and the truth about what people likely might experience when using this product. And if you've been here a while, you know this is not my first go around talking about Volufiline, but The Ordinary, they have this new product, so the queries, they are arising. What exactly is Volufiline or Volufiline? It's a trademark plant-derived compound that originally was used in a clinical study looking at its effects on breast enhancement, not facial use, but over time it's become popular in skincare products that claim to restore lost volume, plump the skin, and some even claim to replace lost fat in the face, which I have to give credit to The Ordinary. They don't actually make that claim, probably because I think it's illegal to make that claim. But understandably, it's an attractive one and it probably sells a lot of product. Why? I mean, with everybody seemingly to be on Ozempic these days, isn't fat loss the goal? Well, not when it comes to your face. We lose facial fat as we age. That contributes to hollows under the eyes, prominent dark circles, an overall hollowed appearance. Many people would love to address that by simply putting on a topical product rather than having to go in for some sort of involved procedure, such as an injection. But as a dermatologist, when I hear a claim like that, I'm going, whoa, wait, how, what, no. Let's start with the in vitro studies on Volufiline. I think that's where a lot of the excitement comes from. And as a reminder, in vitro, it means cells in a dish, not actual human beings. And in vitro studies, they don't always translate to human use. But in these studies, researchers looked at human pre-adipocytes. These are cells that want to become fat cells but aren't quite there yet. They incubated these cells with Volufiline and then they performed something called gene expression profiling. What they found is that the genes involved in adipocyte differentiation, basically those involved in the process of a pre-adipocyte becoming an adipocyte, a full-fledged fat cell. These genes were turned on in the presence of Volufiline. The control cells, on the other hand, which were not exposed to Volufiline, did not show these changes. Not only did the pre-adipocytes differentiate or mature into full-fledged fat cells, but they also took up fat, developed fat vesicles, and maintained a fat cell state for a period of time. So in laboratory studies, Volufiline was looking interesting as a promising candidate, we'll say, for encouraging fat cell-like behavior. But after the laboratory data, this compound was studied in a clinical study on human volunteers, namely women. The study initially looked at 32 women, although by the end of the study, at the final time point, only 28 were available. These were women ranging in ages from 18 to 35. They were not pregnant or breastfeeding. They had a stable body weight and no underlying hormonal conditions. Each woman applied 5% Volufiline gel to one breast twice a day for 56 days, with the other breast serving as an internal control. And the researchers then measured changes at 28 days and again at 56 days. And on average, there was a 2.2% increase in breast size. They identified a subgroup of women who they categorized as best responders. And in this group, at 28 days, there was actually a 6.6% increase in size. And at 56 days, there was an 8.4% increase in size. But it's important to note, this was a small study. The average increase across all participants was actually pretty modest. Not everyone responded in the same way. And we also know that breast size can fluctuate different times of the month depending on hormones, and that fluctuation in size can predominantly affect just one breast. But here's another issue with this clinical study. The method that they use to measure breast size is something called FOITS, F-O-I-T-S, which stands for Fast Optical In Vivo Topometry of Human Skin. Say that 5 times fast. FOITS is primarily used to measure changes in the surface of the skin. It's meant to detect changes in wrinkle depth or skin surface irregularities. It's not intended to evaluate the deeper layers of the skin. It doesn't pick up on the subcutaneous fat. So we're not truly measuring a change in fat volume with this study. but rather a change in the surface of the skin. Personally, I question why they didn't use something like ultrasound, mammography, or some other imaging method that would better allow for evaluation of the fatty compartment. But the real question everyone wants to know is, can this actually work on the face? Facial fat sits deep below the skin. So for a topical product to actually influence fat cell behavior, it has to penetrate the outermost waxy stratum corneum barrier layer all the way down through the epidermis, down into the dermis, all the way down to the subcutaneous fatty compartment. There's currently no convincing evidence to suggest that Volufiline can actually do that. And let's just say, for argument's sake, that it could. It could penetrate to that depth to stimulate pre-adipocytes to mature into full-fledged fat cells. Okay, well, where is the switch to turn that off when you want it? Because unregulated fat cell differentiation, you could end up with fatty tumors around the eyes like lipomas, all sorts of unwanted changes that you probably are not desiring, let alone from a skincare product. The idea that a topical product can selectively stimulate fat cell maturation exactly where you want it with no off-target effects, no unwanted fat cell differentiation, seems like such a reach, so bizarre. Yeah, I don't think this does anything with regards to restoring lost fat. I want to talk about what users actually experience, because if you go online, of course, you're going to find testimonials about, oh my gosh, this was such a game changer. I really see a difference. I feel a difference. Yeah, you feel something, that's for sure. This product, first of all, is very moisturizing, but it also elicits a warming sensation that leads to burning, and it can actually be a little uncomfortable. If you have rosacea, I say stay away from this, because that might aggravate your rosacea and precipitate stubborn flushing. In doing so, it might generate some short-lived tissue swelling, which leads you to think that you have a restoration in volume, but it's just a little bit of local inflammation and swelling. Now, the sensation resolves pretty quickly, but it does lead to some temporary discomfort. I think the noted improvements in volume, the plumping effect, can be due to an increase in blood flow and some local tissue swelling due to mild transient inflammation. That swelling can just create the illusion of better volume, but it's temporary, and whether or not it's good for your skin to do that on a repeated basis, I suspect it can lead to a lot of irritation, especially if you have rosacea. Now, this formula also contains something called Pal-Isoleucine. Sounds like a friend. Pal-Isoleucine are often used to condition the skin, support skin firmness, and just improve overall skin feel. But there's no strong evidence that Pal-Isoleucine contributes to fat cell differentiation. It's likely just playing a supporting role here. So realistically, what the heck is Volufiline really offering in this product specifically? Most likely, this product is providing intense moisturization to the skin and causing temporary swelling and a skin plumping effect that leads to the surface of the skin appearing smoother. And it's also possible that it exerts a direct antioxidant or anti-inflammatory effect as well. These are all effects that can make the skin look smoother, firmer, plumper, similar to what you would get actually with any hydrating rich moisturizer. But that's not the same as actually restoring lost facial fat. So in summary, Volufiline is an interesting ingredient with some intriguing preliminary studies behind it, but very limited to questionable clinical evidence that it does anything, especially for facial use. I remain skeptical that this product penetrates deep enough, safely stimulates fat cell differentiation, or provides any sort of lasting volume restoration. If you enjoy the temporary plumping sensation and tolerate the discomfort, the warmth, and it doesn't irritate your skin, then it might be fine for you to use. Personally, I really wish that they would get rid of the Volufiline, which I assume is what leads to the warmth, the swelling, the sensation, and just put in, maybe it's that Pal-Isoleucine, making it this emollient moisturizer, because it's almost like mineral oil for the skin, but a different substance. And I really like that because it is moisturizing. So I would prefer this product if it felt and looked exactly the same, but did not generate the warmth, the swelling. If you want actual volume restoration in the face, you're looking at cosmetic procedures. A topical skincare product is simply not going to do that. See a board-certified dermatologist or a plastic surgeon. Treatments like fat transfer, cosmetic filler injections, facial implants, those treatments, if right for you, are really going to actually work to restore lost volume in the face. As a side note, I have a whole video talking about Sculptra, which often is used for this very purpose, so definitely check that out if that's something you are interested in learning learning more about. But if you guys found this video interesting or enjoyed it, or hopefully it answered the questions that you had about it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye!